go to these houses and have these meetings, and he converted there. And then those people, he started getting more and more, decided to buy a church. So he opened up a church, and then he later bought a second church. He was very busy. They would have 3 services, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and then the evening service would be at the second church. He was very conservative. He believed that in the end of the world, and this was during the Cold War era. He was very apocalyptic, so a lot of his sermons preached about anti-communistic stuff and the end of the world issues. I mean, his viewpoints from the end of the world, and he read a lot of apocalyptic literature. And also, my mom said that he kind of got his ideas. He was Western Armenian in background, and he got his preaching degree from my sister ended up going to Cincinnati, Ohio, to God's Bible School. That was a place where my grandfather got the mail order through the mail. He took the classes and ended up getting his pastorate degree and his preaching license through the mail. So he worked for a long time building up these 2 churches, and that kind of influenced the way my mom thought. I have at least all my aunts and uncles are either ministers or ministers' wives, except for I think 2 of them. But my father's not a minister. So my mom and her brother are the only 2 that never got into being in the ministry. However, my mother is a lay woman, and my father is a layman. Then on my father's side, my grandfather was a farmer, and he converted by a friend came over. They used to chop corn, and my grandfather was kind of a wild guy. He'd go out partying and playing cards, and that came into conflict with the ideas my grandmother had about how the marriage should go, and she left at one point, and my grandfather came up and got her and brought her back, said he wouldn't do it again. And then one of his friends came down and talked to him about God and things, and he converted, and they went to town, sold the rings. So the story goes, one of my aunts told me, and he quit drinking cold turkey and quit playing cards and the whole deal, and he ran the farm. And I have a rather extensive family on my father's side. I have 4 uncles and 5 aunts, and right now my dad is the only one that, well, my dad and my aunt are pretty much the only one of my aunts go to church regularly, on a regular basis. So I also have a sister who attended God's Bible School in Cincinnati, where my grandfather got his preaching license from. So it's kind of like a historical thing there. My sister's a missionary. They're serving in the Cayman Islands right now. My parents pretty much took those ideas and incorporated them into how they brought us up. It was fairly strict, although they let us get away with quite a few things. They were part of the what's called now the Pilgrim Holiness Church, which was a split from the Wesleyans. And the Wesleyans were a split from the Free Methodists. So all those Wesleyan ideas from Charles Wesley pretty much for the most part carried over into the way the Pilgrims thought about things. So a lot of their religious standards, as far as living standards and theology, comes from the Western Armenian ideas also. And my grandfather on my mother's side, who was the minister, was asked to come into the conference, and he decided to stay independent. And there are very few members at the churches he started now, and they're kind of wishing that they would have joined a larger body. I ended up leaving the Pilgrims after a while due to some conflicts and I had with their standards and their ideas about how things were and should be. And I started reading a lot and exploring a lot of different areas. And I look back at it now, I can appreciate what they were doing because their living standards were mostly in retaliation to a lot of the social issues that were going on in society at that time. Big thing was television. We didn't have television. Women were supposed to, look like women. They were supposed to, wear dresses and things. Long sleeve shirts. You couldn't have short sleeve shirts. Kind of like a modest kind of dress. We didn't have television when me and my sister were growing up as kids, and my sister always wore dresses. And most of the kids we went to church with were for the most part homeschooled. It's kind of funny story about my dad. They were telling him that he was supposed to homeschool, and he didn't have a lot of money. So he said, well, if you're going to have me do all this, send him to private schools or homeschools, you're going to give me money. And nobody stepped forward, so we ended up going to public school. We never had any problems. We were able to join sports. Our father let us do that, which was a huge no-no for some people. And we got to go to our proms. So my father kind of took a blind eye to that, and it was rather enjoyable. So I'm going to come back with part 2 of all this. It's rather long, but I hope you enjoyed the first installment.